Hi, I'm Natasha and welcome to Beyond the Cookbook and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have for you is a recipe for bifanage. Now this is my version of the recipe. Bifanage is something that you can find at any restaurant in Portugal and even here in Canada it's become quite popular. It consists of a pork cutlet or 2 or 3 or however many you want in your bun, some onions and peppers, all on a nice homemade Portuguese bun. Now I didn't make these buns, but maybe one day I will. So if you're ready, why don't you come along with me and we'll make it together. So for today's recipe, you're going to need a few items. You're going to need pork cutlets, you're going to need 4 to 5 onions depending on their size, 1 red pepper, and you're going to need some oven roasted peppers packed in oil. Now for the pork cutlets, you're going to need thin ones. And if you can't find thin ones, I can show you how to thin them out. Simply put a flat hand over the cutlet and with a knife, just slice it in half. Be careful not to cut yourself and be careful not to cut them too thin. You'll also need to beat the cutlets so that they're thin. And to do that, I use a wax paper on the counter, place the meat on top, place another piece of wax paper over top of those, and then I start to beat them with the mallet. This process means minimal cleanup. So for the spices, you're going to need 2 bay leaves, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon of aniseed grounded, half a teaspoon of white pepper, and half a cup of pepper and garlic paste. If you can't find the pepper and garlic paste, you can just omit that altogether. And 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. You'll also need a cup of wine plus half a cup of water. Pour it all together in a bowl and mix. Once everything is nice and flat, I just place it in the bowl with the mixture and I mix it to make sure that everything is covered in the marinade. So then I left it in the marinade overnight, but a couple hours is just fine, and this is the end result. So this is how thin they are. Some of them are a little bit thicker, but that's okay. It's all going to work out the same. Okay? So we're going to just set that aside, and we're going to prepare our onions. So I turned on the stove. I'm using a black iron skillet. It's quite large, so I'm just warming up some oil, and you can use any oil that you want. We're going to first fry the pork cutlets, and then once they're done, we're going to fry the onions along with the peppers, and then we're going to mix everything together. And these onions don't have to be sliced in any specific way. This is just how I like it. If you have green peppers, you can use that, or orange or yellow, whatever bell pepper you have available. Just take the seeds out and slice. I use the whole pepper as much as I possibly can. No waste. And these are the oven roasted peppers packed in oil. So I'm just going to slice them the same way as everything else, just in strips. They add a nice little bit of a tangy flavor to it. So our oil is ready, so we just need to just lay them in there. Use your hands if you can, they're the best tools. need to flip them once because at the end, after all the onions and the peppers are cooked, we're going to put it all together in the same pan and it's going to just simmer for a few minutes. Just to finish cooking and just to absorb each other's flavors. So we're down to the end. Look at how beautiful and caramelized it is. And we're going to add the onions to this oil. Now you can add more oil if you need to. I think we're going to add just a little bit more. So I'm just using a little bit of olive oil. You can use any oil you want. Doesn't really matter. It's whatever you like to cook with. I'm going to try and separate these a little bit as much as I can and set them in there. Whoops, we don't need that guy in there yet. You hear that sizzle? Sounds perfect. Just stir it around a little bit. I think the onions are my favorite part of the sandwich. Let everything cook together. Okay, we're going to add the rest of our peppers. These are the oven roasted peppers, and they add a little bit of tang to it, a little bit of sweetness. Okay, so we're going to put the cutlets back in and try and bury them in. Like that. Layer them in here as much as you can. So we're down to the last ones. And all this sauce that came from all this gravy that came from the pork, you pour that right over. That's all goodness. And then cover and let it simmer for about 10 minutes. So we're just going to check on it. During this time, try and flip it. Get the ones from the bottom to the top and vice versa. Just so that everybody sits in the same nice juicy bath. Whoops. Give it another few minutes and then we will taste. Make sure to include the onions and some of those juices when you're plating it up. So here is our plate of bifanish. Look how nice it is. Everything is nice and beautiful and brown, and there's onions and peppers. You can see everything so nice. So to serve this, it's traditional to serve it on a Portuguese bun called a pão seco. So you simply just slice it in half and put 1 or 2 cutlets. And don't forget to include some of those onions and pepper. And there's 1 serving. And now you can have this in the bun. You can accompany it with rice or homemade French fries, or you can just have it without the bun. So let's try one. Let's try this one. It's nice. It's just like I remember it. You're gonna love this.